Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at 10 surprising historical facts that define America. But before we get started, please make sure to subscribe so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. And if you enjoy learning about history, then turn on all notifications so you don't miss out on any of our videos. Alright, let's get started. Number 10. The United States was not the first nation to recognize the Mississippi River as an international boundary. Before the United States was ever a country, the Spanish and the French had already agreed that the Mississippi would serve as the dividing line between their colonial holdings in North America. In 1763, after the French and Indian War, the Treaty of Paris ceded the entire Mississippi River watershed to the British. However, this did not include the city of New Orleans, which remained under Spanish control. This caused tensions between the two countries, and in 1803, the United States purchased the Louisiana Territory from Spain. This purchase doubled the size of the United States and gave them control of the entire Mississippi River. Number 9. Denmark was the first European power to recognize the United States. When news of the American Revolution reached Copenhagen in 1776, King Frederick V immediately recognized the United States as a sovereign nation. He also sent a military mission to assist the Americans in their war against the British. The following year, the United States and Denmark signed a treaty of friendship and commerce, which established peace and trade between the two nations. Denmark's decision to recognize the United States was a risky one, as it strained relations with their ally, Great Britain. However, it paid off when the United States became a major trading partner for Denmark. Number 8. During the Civil War, there was a secret plan to assassinate President Abraham Lincoln. This plot was led by John Wilkes Booth, a famous actor who had Confederate sympathies. Booth and his co-conspirators planned to kidnap Lincoln and demand that he be exchanged for Confederate prisoners of war. However, the plot was discovered and the conspirators were arrested. Booth escaped, but he was later killed by Union soldiers. On April 14, 1865, Booth and 4 of his accomplices were tried for treason and convicted. 4 of the men were hanged, while Booth's body was taken to a Maryland farm and buried. Number 7. Benjamin Franklin was not the only founding father to sign both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. There were actually 3 other founding fathers who accomplished this feat. They were John Hancock, Samuel Adams, and Robert Morris. All 5 men were instrumental in the creation of the United States, and their signatures on these 2 important documents symbolize their commitment to the new nation. While Benjamin Franklin is perhaps the most well-known of these 5 men, it is important to remember that they were all instrumental in the founding of the United States. Number 6. George Washington was not the first president to live in the White House. In 1800, President John Adams moved into the partially completed mansion, making it the first presidential residence. However, it was during the second term of Thomas Jefferson that the White House was truly finished. Under his direction, a dome was added to the building as well as a colonnade to connect it to the State Department. It was also during Jefferson's presidency that the White House got its first official landscaping. He hired landscape designer Andrew Jackson Downing to create gardens and a park around the mansion. Number 5. The Liberty Bell was not rung to celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It was actually rung on July 8, 1776, to announce to the citizens of Philadelphia that there would be a meeting of the Pennsylvania Assembly. This meeting would ultimately lead to the signing of the Declaration of Independence. However, it was not until years later that the bell was associated with the signing of the document. This is because the bell had been cracked and was no longer able to be used. It was then placed on display at the Pennsylvania State House, where it became known as the Liberty Bell. Number 4. The United States did not always have a national anthem. The first national anthem of the United States was written in 1814 by Francis Scott Key. The song was originally called The Star-Spangled Banner and was written after witnessing the bombardment of Fort McHenry by the British during the War of 1812. The lyrics of the song described the American flag flying over the fort after it had been bombarded throughout the night. This gave the songwriter hope that the United States would ultimately prevail in the war. In 1931, The Star-Spangled Banner was officially adopted as the national anthem of the United States. Number 3. The United States has never been attacked by a foreign power on mainland United States. Although the United States has been involved in many wars, including 2 world wars and several conflicts in Korea and Vietnam, it has never been attacked by a foreign power on mainland United States. The last time a foreign power attacked the United States was in 1814 when British troops invaded and burned Washington, D.C. during the War of 1812. Although the United States has been attacked on its own soil by Native American tribes, it has never been attacked by a foreign government. This makes the United States one of only a few countries in the world that can make this claim. Number 2. The American Civil War was the deadliest war in United States history with more than 620,000 soldiers killed. This was 3% of the total population at the time. The majority of deaths resulted from combat, but disease and illness also played a major role. The war began in 1861 after decades of growing tension over slavery and states' rights. The Confederacy, made up of 11 Southern states, seceded from the Union, and the United States subsequently declared war on the Confederacy. The war ended in 1865 with the surrender of the Confederacy and the abolition of slavery. Number 1. The United States has a long history of westward expansion. From the early days of exploration and trading posts to the Oregon Trail and the California Gold Rush, Americans have always been drawn to the idea of the frontier. This desire for land and opportunity led to the Louisiana Purchase, the Oregon Treaty, and the winning of the Mexican-American War. In 1848, the United States acquired vast amounts of land through the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. This purchase nearly doubled the size of the United States and opened up new possibilities for exploration and settlement. With all of this new land, the United States was quickly becoming a continental power. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. We hope you learned something new, and we hope to see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.